Hello, everybody. Namaste and a warm welcome to a very special edition today with Bato and Cognit. And in the studio today, I have Avinash. We are going to talk about their upcoming project, JunctionX Kathmandu and FinnoFest. Avinash, welcome to the session.
Thank you very much.
Avinash, I've been hearing about JunctionX Kathmandu for now quite many weeks. Could you tell a bit more about what it is, and then especially at this moment, why is it important?
Yeah, thanks for the question. JunctionX Kathmandu was kind of, being in the ecosystem for such a long years in and around the Finnish ecosystem, and particularly Aalto ecosystem, myself being an alumni there, and then also staff there for many years, about 8 years. So there was always a dream, and I think this is very close to all the people here in Finland. If you have been in Finland, you are always inspired by the ecosystem, especially in Otaniemi, in Aalto University ecosystem, Aalto Entrepreneurship Society's ecosystems, the things happening here. And many times when we speak with our friends, both Nepalese and non-Nepalese, everybody was trying to, everybody's thinking like, how can we replicate similar initiatives back home? How can we inspire the ecosystems back home? Do a few things together with, let's say, Aalto Entrepreneurship Societies or whole Finnish ecosystem a bit. And I think that started a thread many years ago in me, and then also our colleagues at Cognit.
Yeah.
And that was the start. And it was not that we decided a year ago or some. I think we worked since 3 years for the planning and for the partnership agreements and everything. But then also because of a situation back home, a few things got delayed. It was originally planned for December 2025. But fortunately, we have to move it to May. And then here we are. So we are very excited about JunctionX Kathmandu finally landing in Kathmandu.
Wonderful. As I remember, you're very correct in terms of the very vibrant ecosystem in here, Aalto ES, and then the Startup Sauna and Junction, Slush, and Dash and Kiosk. Everybody, doing so much for the community. Now Founders House and then FR8 and Freight, for example, they're doing amazing things, right? I remember 2018, I was a volunteer at Junction. I was one of the team leads, and we had 1,500, kind of like hackers in Otaniemi, so in Dipoli. So we had done that, and then it was an amazing experience as a volunteer, also as one of the team also. And then over the years with Slush and with Junction, they have been doing sort of in different countries. For example, Slush and then Junction has different in different Asian markets, and then also different countries. For instance, how was the process in terms of acquiring, for example, the license? I'm sure it's not easy. There are certain requirements and stuff. How was the process, and how long was the process?
Process was a very easy. As you know, the Finnish work culture is very direct and straightforward, and then being in the ecosystem was a plus for me, because I knew the organizing team, because every year the team changes. In Aalto Entrepreneurship Society, different initiatives there every year changes, but then it has been very smooth. People were very approachable, and then you just sit with them, go through what are the requirements, and fulfill those. Very very standard procedure for any partnerships. And then most likely all the people, especially in Finnish ecosystem, not only Aalto ES Entrepreneurship Society, everybody is welcoming. They will hear you, and then they understand. And I think with Junction is one of the biggest global hackathons, and they have this JunctionX event, which are sister events globally. So anybody can partner with let's say there are different scopes of JunctionX as well. So it can be, let's say, city level JunctionX Kathmandu, for example, but then it can be also JunctionX Nepal, JunctionX South Asia. So the level can be different, and based on that, the partnership modalities and requirement and fees are different. But then the partnership mechanism works in a way that there is a support from the Junction headquarter teams for all the technical and practical matters as well, and they act as if they are the extended JunctionX Kathmandu team and family, and that's very welcoming for us. So anybody who is willing to take it to their cities or countries can actually approach them very, very easily.
Exactly. And of course, they do have, like you mentioned, certain criteria, and they help a lot during the process and stuff, building up the event and getting all the relevant partners and relevant, for example, things for the overall event. Maybe one thing I want to follow up is in Kathmandu. So how big scale are we talking about, Avinash? Now, In Finland, probably it's 1,500, 2,000, right? How many people are we expecting in Nepal? What is the overall kind of like event theme and event kind of like sort of like a size and reach?
Yeah, thanks for the question. JunctionX Kathmandu, we are targeting somewhere between 250 to 300 hackers, as we say. And then we are also working with different challenge owners. So, and then we have divided in 3 edge actually for this year in JunctionX. So one is high tech. So anything AI and IT and technology is high tech. And then another theme is hydropower and energy systems.
Which is very relevant.
Very relevant for Nepalese ecosystem. Yeah. And thirdly is hospitality and heritage. So again, all three very relevant for Nepalese ecosystem. So we have divided 3 challenge owners and tracks. And in each challenge owners and track, we have associated partners who are bringing in challenges, who are bringing in other partners within that scope. So we are targeting 250 to 300 hackers. And then unique thing about JunctionX Kathmandu is that we are not sourcing the hackers directly, let's say direct applications, since we are already working with Nepalese institutions. So we are doing it through the institution, through the partnerships of the institution. So we are actually onboarding institutions and they are selecting hackers from their colleges and institutions. So it will be like a team competing against other teams, college teams.
That's amazing. One thing you mentioned about getting relevant like challenges and stuff, tracks and stuff. I saw that Lovable and 11 Labs are one of the partners. How was the process of getting them on board?
I think that's also a very interesting question, and many people ask us like, how did you onboard such a global players? Yeah. I think that's also a benefit of being in the ecosystem here. So, like I said, since we have been very active, Cognite itself in Finnish ecosystem, and then having people who work with Lovable or 11 Labs or global brands from Finland, and also with Slush being one of the key flagship technical event technology event, one of the major events in the world, we had some close contacts and networks. And then again, like the Finnish spirit that we have owned, that we directly approached some of the people and they said, yeah, amazing, you are doing this in Kathmandu. That would be interesting. We will support you in those ways. And how they are onboarded into the JunctionX Kathmandu are mainly as sponsors, and then mainly as credit partners for our hackers. And then both the 11 Labs and Junction, 11 Labs and Lovable provide generous credits for hackers during the event. But then also for winners, they are providing some extra credits so that they can keep building their product or their innovation post the event as well. So,
which is very important.
Yeah, that is very important.
How to continue, for example, the projects that you have been doing, not only, for example, 48-hour stuff, but how do you take it forward to the next level? Right? So I think that kind of like a sort of like a partnership, strategic partnership, a long-term partnership is also important to make sure that, the project remains intact. Okay, wonderful. Another thing I wanted to touch is about the local partnership. I mean, how of course you mentioned about the universities and your own process, but how about the other partners, the local partners? How important have they been in terms of kind of like setting up the whole event?
No, I think like that's the core of everything that we do. You cannot just copy paste, let's say, partnerships or logos or people from, let's say, Finnish or other ecosystems and place them in Kathmandu. So it has to have local ownership, and that's why our team is working day and night so hard for last 6 to 9 months actually to bring all the parties interested as associated partners, as challenge owners, and all credit to them, their hard work, and then also the ecosystem, because many times you think Nepal is a very small ecosystem. The bureaucracy and all other things might hinder those kind of innovative processes. But to our surprise, and to due credit to our local team with our partner there in SUMS Nepal, amazing team. They have onboarded local partners, big names like Iseva, the fintech company, the leading fintech company in Nepal, Kathmandu University Turbine Testing Lab as well. and then also maybe negotiations with other tourism boats and others as well.
And Team Finland also,
yes,
right?
Yes, and not to forget Team Finland, our strategic partner in collaboration with the Embassy of Finland and Team Finland, because I think that's what we want to bring is like we are providing the platform, but then the ownership has to be localized. The themes has to be localized. That's why we have 3H, as I previously mentioned, and then everything has to be done as locally. So we are not, let's say, copy pasting Junction. Junction is in the Finnish way, but it's the flavor is JunctionX Kathmandu. It's a Nepali way of doing, because there are certain understanding of what a hackathon should be in the local system. So our team is trying to bridge that, but then also having a conscious decision to make it much more local and then adapt it with the partners and then people. In the
absolutely, and having the local players and then having, for example, the challenges that are very relevant to the local problems. For instance, hydropower, hospitality, and then of course the AI, all these things, very relevant things in there. Now we have JunctionX Kathmandu. We also have FinnoFest. What is the connection between that? Yeah,
so many times people are a little bit amazed at what is this JunctionX hackathon. They understand the hackathon part, but what is FinnoFest again? So when we were trying to build a program, there was so much kind of interest from different partners. So we could not accommodate them within the framework of, let's say, hackathon, because we have only limited challenge owners and limited kind of resources to pull through. And also on top of that, we are doing it for the first time. So we didn't want it to, expand it beyond our capabilities, to be honest. So then what we come up with, since we have the venue, as AI team, one of the colleagues, our venue partner, they're very generous in supporting us. The venue was quite accommodating to do other things parallel to the hackathon. So we thought, in consultation with our partners, we were interested to bring in a little bit of Finnish companies, let's say Nepali co-founded Finnish companies, also being part of, for example, Bato is one of the part of FinnoFest partners there, presenting about initiatives, and then other companies we are approaching here in Finland also being part of the FinnoFest. So the FinnoFest, again, across those three thematic areas, we have 3 days. So there will be lots of local players, companies, NGOs, INGOs, and then projects coming together, mainly catered around, let's say, Finnish and Nepalese connections. So we know historically Nepal and Finland has strong ties, especially in education, especially in climate change and then inclusion spaces. And then also now coming from development cooperation to, let's say, broader business partnerships kind of relationships that we are trying to build. And that's also something where Team Finland is looking into how we can bring it together. So idea grew from, let's say, try to accommodate other players and other ideas, and now I think it has grown beyond just a hackathon. So FinnoFest is ode to, let's say, our connections to Finland and our roots to Nepal. But then the idea, I think, that we are exploring going further is that by extension we want to also bring, let's say, Finnish expertise, diaspora expertise in Finland, and then also in Baltics and Nordics, to be part of Nepalese ecosystem, and that's the pathways that we are bridging here with FinnoFest.
No, absolutely. I think there's so much to learn from both the sides, from Nepal and from Finland, also especially from Finland in terms of entrepreneurship culture and kind of like that sort of like a grit, like, hey, we need to kind of like found a company or sort of a lot of like how the ecosystem overall operates in that sense, and then now Junction going there, and of course a lot of, for example, Nepalese founded companies being represented in FinnoFest, for instance. I think that gives a lot of motivation, not only to us building things here, but also people who are actually building there, and they can really see, okay, what are the things Nepali diaspora is doing, not only in Europe, not only, for example, in Finland, Nordics, Europe, and overall in the world. I think that's a very good initiative in that sense. And I think again, going back, the importance of having the relevant partners and also the global partners like Lovable and 11 Labs and all those people.
And just to also add to that is another way is we have been working in Nepal for last 3 years, right? So we also run our pre-incubation program there in Nepal, and what we want to also inspire local teenagers, kids, and youths and entrepreneurs to be in Nepal, to also give them bridge to, let's say, global platforms.
Exactly.
So that's also something we want to inspire them. We want to motivate them to build product not only for Nepal but for global markets, and that's where I think think it's essential for us who have done something in these markets or bring the expertise from here so that we can inspire, we can mentor, and then we can eventually give them spaces to, let's say, for example, inviting them to Slush or through other initiatives like Expector that we are running pre-incubation and in future with Bato Accelerator as well. So I think we are creating these pathways mutually for Nepalese ideas and Nepalese youth's entrepreneurial ideas as well in future to go to global market, and especially with our expertise here in Finland and Northern Europe, especially to European markets as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the platform is one kind of like a point, but at the same time, the access to the network,
exactly,
I think is so important. For example, even with Junction, and they are in, like you mentioned, people are, the team overall is changing, once a year, or let's say they are changing on a regular basis, but they are going to build different companies. Exactly. The same with Slush, for instance. They are, whoever is working there, many of them are founding their own company. So there's so much access to the network, and which is very, very important when you are building certain things. Like you mentioned, when you're getting lovable credits or 11 Labs. I mean, there are certain connections that you can use for that, and because you are active in the community, and then they trust you, what you do, and then they trust in the overall process and also overall idea. And I think that's very important. The access to network is so important.
And that is why also we reached out to Lovable and 11 Labs to also join in person this time to Kathmandu, but unfortunately because of logistics. But they have promised hopefully in future they will be also presented in person in Kathmandu as well. And that's our aim, that the partnerships builds stronger from here on, year on year. So that's something we are hoping that not only us, but then, like I said, we are the breezes, we provide the breeze, but then the other players can come and plug in, not only Finland, but like I said, in future we are looking into taking other Nepalese co-founders in Nordics or in Baltics or in overall mainland Europe to be part of this festival, and maybe it will expand in coming years.
Maybe bridging that a bit on the Sisu factory thing. I remember, I think Cognito was doing something with the Sisu factory. Was there something related?
Last year, actually in February, when I was in Nepal, we were trying to also bring the soft landing services of Finland, especially from the capital region, from Helsinki, Vantaa, and Espoo. They provide these amazing services for scale-ups, especially from growing markets, for the European market, so that they provide all the information, all the visas and requirement-related issues for companies who want to establish their Finnish companies, who want to relocate to Finland. So that's something we did one webinar, and then unfortunately we tried to again do the program, but also due to their own limitations and short notice time, we could not do it. But in spirit, we are working with them very closely, and also with other municipalities. So in future, we might see like direct access of, let's say, Nepalese startups and scale-ups, particularly to these Finnish municipality services and people, so that they can pitch, they can try to scope out if they want to relocate to Finland, if they have a viable business opportunity here in Finland.
And talking about the municipalities, again, Cognit is doing with Rihimaki. Can you tell a bit more about the sort of like the talent program that you have been doing for a few years now?
So we started a few seasons ago. So we are running it a year now. So we started, if you know, in the beginning, we started with a technology platform, software as a service company, but quickly we realized there are so many tools, right? People actually need services. People need solutions that help them to either get jobs or help them to build their products as soon as possible. And in European context, even in Finland, the integration models, the municipalities and others are doing okay, but then also there needs more and more players to contribute in a way that kind of onboards the talents from the regions. So, and then also give them enough confidence that those understand, let's say, context back home, and then also here in Finland. So we have been doing on both fronts, especially with City of Rihimaki. We have a talent acceleration program called TAP. in short. So we train local students, especially international students, and then also their spouses who are job seekers to either build their companies. So we facilitate entrepreneurship. We also do actually relocation of entrepreneur ideas from one city to another city.
Nice.
So
nice.
we have that's first of a kind in Finland actually.
Okay.
So we have already relocated few interesting companies or startups from one city. Now they are willing to relocate to Riihimäki, which is a plus for the city of Riihimäki.
Yeah.
And then also we do for the job employment market, we work with local companies to provide projects for these talents so that they can build their portfolios and then network with the employers to be, and then build their confidence and eventually get hired in Finnish ecosystem. So that's the program that we are running currently in the city of Riihimäki. And then there have been certain interest from not only Finland, but also from other countries, especially in Estonia and Latvia as well. So we are trying to expand there as well.
So there's definitely a possibility for expansion in the coming years. Maybe one sort of like a last follow-up, Avinash, on the JunctionX Kathmandu and also for FinnoFest. What are the plans? What is your plans for the future? How far, how big do you want to make it, and maybe different strategies that you have to expand it?
Yeah, I think that's also something in mind. We don't want to do it one time, right? Yeah. So when we were starting, we have already kind of mapped, let's say, with other Finnish ecosystems and other Finnish innovation ecosystem parallels. So that's something we are still building. And then, like we talked before, it has to be driven by local demand, local stakeholders. So we are working on certain plans on future, but then also we want to keep room open for other players to come in and intervene as they need to be, especially the local players looking into the demand. So looking into future, like maybe short term, is that we want to maybe separate these two festivals because again, first time we are doing it, there are a few learnings on the go while you do that. So I realized, or we as a team realized that it's growing beyond what we expect. So we will maybe decouple JunctionX and FinnoFest.
Okay.
So JunctionX will in future be purely hackathon driven, and it will be
separate entity.
Yes,
right. Okay.
And it will grow with bigger numbers, bigger players, bigger challenges, bigger sponsorships and others. Yeah. And just to also mention, actually, I forgot to mention the winning team of JunctionX Kathmandu will travel to Helsinki for a Junction main event in November.
Nice.
So they will represent Nepal, they will represent their institution, and it will be massive, learning opportunity for those the hackers team who wins the overall hackathon as well. So that's something we want to keep building, bridges, and then also on the FinnoFest side, like I said previously, the aim is to bridge it with other initiatives here in Finland, especially with Slush, how we can bridge the initiatives in parallel with those ones, and then also looking into expanding our pre-incubation model with our Expector program, but then also with Bato Accelerator in future. So how we can genuinely plug in our own, services and products, especially of the ecosystem here in Finland, and then also elsewhere, especially Nepali co-founders led. And then we have got many good messages, not only from Nepalese co-founders, but also other University of Applied Sciences, universities here in Finland, that they would definitely want to be part of future events. So we are very excited about future and then see where it goes. But definitely the hackathon will, and then the FinnoFest will maybe separate, but then they will be bigger in its own respects.
Yeah, no, wonderful. It's an excellent sort of like initiative, and I think it brings a lot of light, sets a lot of light on how our ecosystem back in Nepal works, and then what are the learnings that we can bring or we can take from Finland to Nepal and the other way around.
Exactly.
And then also, I think this will be an amazing opportunity for JunctionX Kathmandu team, whoever wins the challenge, to come and really experience like firsthand how the ecosystem works in here. I think that is something that we can, I think with Bato also, with Cognit, and we can really, bring up, we can really, create some sort of like a program for them so that they can have the ecosystem to whatever it is. But that is something that I personally am also very excited to follow. So at the end, maybe Avinash, one thing I would like to get from you is, what message do you have for, of course, the founders, Nepalese founders based in Finland or based in Nordics, for example, and then also people in Nepal to know about why JunctionX Kathmandu and why FinnoFest at this very point of time is important, and why it is very important for everyone to, as much as possible, to contribute one way or the other to make it happen.
Yeah, so I think my call would be like, we are open.
Yeah.
So any ideas, like we respect your ideas and innovation, and like I said, we are a bridge. So you can be part of it. You can come up with ideas. There's I'm sure room for everyone and every ideas that you can bring in. If you want to exhibit, if you want to do mentoring sessions to our amazing hackers or our ecosystem back home in Kathmandu and then beyond. Actually, in Nepal, we are also expanding beyond Kathmandu in coming months. So any ideas that you come up with, we are welcome. So we are still looking for challenge owners. If you want to do a side track, if you want to exhibit there, if you want to provide mentoring, like I said, or if you want to support in one way or other, or if you just want to be part of the event and then just to participate there, we welcome you. And then I think we are open for business. So please do come. And then I think one thing that I want to address all the innovators or the experts here in Nordics, especially Nepalese ones, to really think about like how we can give back to the community as well. Not give back in a way of saying that, it's not a donation or it's not a, let's say, charity, in a way of genuine curiosity-led, genuine openness-led, similar to what Nordic values we have seen, that I think we have to be open to new ideas. And then I think the way of doing things is quite new in Nepal as well. The optimism, especially now with new government and everything, is there. And then there is ample opportunity, and we have seen firsthand there is ample resources and talent in the ecosystem back home in Kathmandu.
Yeah.
So it's just for us to uplift them and give them enough encouragement and platforms to rise and shine and take the global stage. And that's where we are actually breezing in, and any ideas are welcome, and any support is welcome.
Yeah, wonderful. And you guys are doing an amazing job doing that. And I'm really looking forward to follow the journey, and all the best, Avinash, and the whole team to make it happen.
Thank you, because and thank you for Bato for all the inspiration and showing us the Bato.
No worries. And thank you everyone for following us in this episode. And really excited to follow how JunctionX Kathmandu and also FinnoFest turns out. Feel free to follow their pages on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions or any sort of like Avinash said, if you want to be part of it, challenge owners, if you want to participate on it, and probably some of the mentors, or they can also take part online, right?
Yes, definitely. So
Exactly.
we have a hybrid option as well. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So there's a lot of possibilities for collaboration. So definitely reach out to the team. And again, it's an amazing initiative for our ecosystem. So really looking forward to how it turns out. But thank you, Avinash, once again.
Thank you, because
all right. Thank you.